Hello, everyone, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to show you the power of GPT-4 or Generative Pre-trained Transformer 4. So GPT-4 is OpenAI's most advanced system, producing safer and more useful responses. So please note that GPT-4 is only available right now if you are a Plus member to pay like $20 per month for a subscription with OpenAI to be able to use GPT-4. So if you scroll down here, you will see some of the features of GPT. Basically, GPT-4 has an advanced reasoning capability. It can solve difficult problems with greater accuracy. Think of it as more of a digital brain, but it's much bigger from a number of neurons, a number of parameters, compared to its predecessor, which is ChatGPT or GPT 3.5. Basically, GPT-4 has seen a ton of data, and it's much larger brain that can perform or solve difficult problems with very high reasoning ability. So GPT-4 is more creative and collaborative than ever before. It can help generate, edit, and iterate with users on creative and technical writing tasks, such as writing songs, writing screenplays, or learning the user writing style as well. So let me show you an example here. So for example, if you ask GPT-4 to explain the plot of Cinderella in a sentence where each word has to begin with the next letter in the alphabet from A to Z, this is basically what you get. You get A, and then beautiful. Okay, so the second word is B here, and then Cinderella, and then dwelling eagerly, finally gains happiness. And what I'm going to show you as well in today's lesson, I'm going to show you ChatGPT versus GPT-4 and how kind of GPT-4 is a lot more advanced compared to ChatGPT. And I'm going to show you a few of these prompts coming up next. So GPT-4 surpasses ChatGPT in its advanced reasoning capabilities. So for example, here is ChatGPT versus GPT-4. Basically what you see here is if you have, let's say, an example where you would like to schedule a meeting with multiple people, ChatGPT simply fails, okay? So for example, if Andrew is free from 11 to 3, Joanne is free from noon to 2 p.m., and then 3:30 to 5 p.m., Hannah is available at noon for half an hour, and then 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., you're looking for the kind of an overlap just for 30 minutes between Andrew, Hannah, and Joanne. What you get here is ChatGPT pretty much failed. However, GPT-4 can just tell you right away there is an availability between all these people from 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m. Also, GPT-4 outperformed ChatGPT by scoring in pretty much most of the exams. One key differentiating factor is in the bar exam. ChatGPT scored in the 10th percentile, while GPT-4 scored in 90th percentile, which is pretty scary given that kind of the jump from ChatGPT to GPT-4. Let me go ahead and walk you through a few examples. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back here to our ChatGPT. And what you see here is if you have the ChatGPT Plus kind of membership, then you'll be able to access GPT-4. And what you see here is if you just go to the default, which is GPT 3.5, you will see the reasoning ability is 3 out of 5. Speed is actually 5 out of 5. Conciseness only 2 out of 5. However, if you check out GPT, it has a very high reasoning ability. It's almost 5 out of 5. And of course, it's a little bit slower compared to GPT 3.5. And again, because it's a massive language model on GPUs, and that's why the speed here is quite slow. So let's go ahead and test both out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up first with this prompt. So I'm going to say, there are 100 murderers in the room. You walked in the room and you killed one of them. How many murderers are left in the room? And now I'm asking basically ChatGPT to tell me what the answer would look like. So if you go ahead and press enter on your keyboard, here we go. It's going to tell you, well, if you killed one of the murderers, there would still be 99 murderers left in the room. Basically, ChatGPT didn't understand that because you killed one of them, now you became a murderer yourself. So that reasoning ability kind of didn't catch up here with ChatGPT. So if you go ahead and say, well, new chat, and I want to see what GPT-4 is going to answer, and I'm going to go back, use the exact same prompt, and just press enter on your keyboard. Here we go. First, you will notice that GPT-4 is quite actually slow right now. So you can see that after you killed one of the murderers, there are 99 murderers left in the room. However, Since you committed murder yourself as well, then there are 100 murderers in the room, including you. Much, much smarter, much, much better compared to ChatGPT. Let me show you another example. So let's assume that old Granny Adams left half her money to her granddaughter and half that amount in her grandson's name. She left a sixth to her brother and the remainder, which is $1,000, to the dog's home. How much did she leave altogether? These are kind of math problems, and we can simply use the exact same math problem and pose it to ChatGPT and GPT-4 and try to see if they are able to reason and calculate these equations. So if you press enter on your keyboard, and please know that this is basically GPT 3.5 or ChatGPT, it's going to tell you, well, let X be the total amount of money that Granny Adams left. According to the problem, half of the money left to the granddaughter, and it's kind of solving here the problem for you. And then it's basically calculating and it's coming up with the overall amount. Therefore, Granny Adams left a total of 4,000. Actually, this answer is not correct. Let's go ahead and what GPT-4 is going to tell you. So I'm going to copy the exact same prompt here, and now I'm using GPT-4. And if you press enter on your keyboard, it's going to tell you, well, let's call the total amount of money Granny Adams left is X. And see how powerful that is, how structured that is. She left half the money to her granddaughter, means half X. She left half that money to her grandson, so that means 1/4X. And then she left 1,000 and 1/6 of that. And then look at that, look how powerful GPT-4 is, writing equations and solving for X. And it's very detailed, much, much better compared to ChatGPT. And by dividing both sides, well, you get X equals to 12,000, and that's the exact correct answer. Pretty incredible. Okay, let me show you another example. So I'm asking ChatGPT to write a paragraph about traveling, so each word starts with letter T. Let's go ahead and test it out. Here we go. It's going to tell you, well, traveling is truly the ticket to transcendental experience, so this is wrong. That tantalize the senses, okay? It teaches us to trust. It's kind of trying, but it's not correct. So if you go back and you say, well, new chat, and I want to test out GPT-4 right now. And if you go here, use the exact same prompt. And here we go. Look at this. Traveling transformed tranquil tourists, tempting them towards thrilling transcendent territories, trekking through timeless towns. Again, pretty incredible. It actually got it right. And that kind of show you the reasoning ability of GPT-4 over ChatGPT. Okay. Let me show you another example. Let's assume that I would like to go back to ChatGPT here. I'm going to say, explain the plot of the Titanic in which each word has to begin with the next letter in the alphabet from A to Z without repeating any letters. If you press enter on your keyboard, I'll tell you, well, sure, all right. Here we go. Let me give it a try. Aboard a colossal cruise liner named Titanic, bound for America with passenger quite iconic, came a young man named Jack who won the ticket in a bet. It's pretty cool. But what you notice here is basically it didn't understand what I mean here. Basically, it's kind of start every sentence with that specific letter. So A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so it's kind of trying, right? But that's not exactly what I meant. So if I go back and if I say, please try GPT-4 instead, and I'm using the exact, and if you press enter on your keyboard, so here we go. It's going to tell you, well, abandoned boat cruise, destiny eventually finds glamorous heartthrob, ill-fated journey, kindless love. Again, basically get it. So now I have A, B, C, D, E. Ill-fated journey, kindless love, maidens noble, romance sinks, tragedy unveils, valiant, watery. Okay, pretty cool. Okay, trying, which is pretty incredible. And of course, this is much better answer compared to the ChatGPT one. Okay, let me show you another example. Example from the bar exam. So basically what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say, well, a husband and wife were married in state A and lived there for 10 years before separating. And basically this is kind of the law question. And we have 4 choices here for options. And let's test out ChatGPT. So if you go ahead and press enter on your keyboard, it's going to tell you, well, the correct answer is D. And yes, because establish a domicile in state B. Well, this answer is actually not true. The correct answer is C. And if you go back and test out GPT-4, and I'm testing it out again with the same prompt, it's going to tell me, well, sure, C, yes, because state courts have exclusive jurisdiction over this type of action. And of course, you can go ahead and read kind of explaining to you exactly how they come up with this reasoning. Super powerful. Again, much, much better compared to ChatGPT. Let me show you one final prompt. So here I'm going to assume that I would like to start an online store that sells handmade Egyptian jewelry that have a theme of the return of the pharaohs in alien style. And I'm asking ChatGPT to basically suggest 50 names for the brand. Please note that we're going to learn in basically this course how to kind of develop our brand, how to come up with a logo for the brand, and how to come up with designs as well by leveraging the power of artificial intelligence. And let's go ahead and see what ChatGPT is going to come up with. So here we go. It's going to tell you, well, these are the names. So here I'm asking for 50 names. So you'll find, for example, here, pharaohs in space, aliens, pharaohs. For example, here, like few additional names as well. Nebula, stellar, for example, pretty cool names. Let's go ahead and see what GPT-4 is going to come up with. Again, I'm using the exact same prompt here. And look how kind of dense and how rich the vocab is. So you will find basically the ideas here are a lot more coherent, and it's much better names, kind of a lot more deeper names compared to the previous ChatGPT suggestions. So for example, you will see Cosmic Cleopatra Creations, pretty cool. You will see another names as well. Let's say here Lunar Luxor Legends, pretty interesting. And again, you will find it's a lot more, I would say, deep compared to the ChatGPT names that have been suggested. That's it. That's all I have for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Please note that moving forward, I'm going to primarily use ChatGPT, but you can simply use the exact same prompt for GPT-4. And you can also use it as well with Bing search, because Bing right now is powered by GPT-4 behind the scenes. And I'm going to show you as well Google Bard, Bing, and how to leverage all these tools moving forward. But again, you can use the exact same prompts that I'm going to use in the future with ChatGPT or GPT-4. But of course, you can get much better answer with GPT-4. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and see you in the next one.